initiative to create a vote bank for urban, educated Bangaloreans. And a follow-up to that is, of course, we have to get out to vote. So these youngsters are now on the way to a shopping mall to actually spread this message.
So do people find it strange when you suddenly start dancing? What's the sort of reaction you usually pick up?
No, usually that's a way you can attract everyone. Everybody loves dancing.
Are you going to vote yourself?
No.
But what's the point then? See? That's really unfair. If you're going to do this, then you must go out and vote. Otherwise, what's the point of organizing this?
See, we are doing our bit. So I hope that, people here is out.
No, will you go and vote?
I'll go vote for the right candidate. I mean, whom I have to office to.
I won't ask you who the candidate is, but I hope in your head you found out.
Yes,
who the right
definitely. By now, yes.
After hearing the discussion, you've been able to find out. No, because it's very important. There's no point in all this song and dance unless it actually translates into people going and voting.
Right, that's the reason of this flash
But she says she doesn't want to vote.
Unless we find a good one.
So you haven't found a good... One second, give the mic back. Okay. You haven't found a good candidate, that's why you don't want to vote?
Yes. I mean, I'm still on the way in search of the right one.
And if you find a good candidate, you will vote?
Yes.
Because that's very important. You must vote, otherwise what's the purpose? Yes.
Yeah, so basically this flash mob, we are showing the people that we are here to encourage you people to please vote. Because at the end of the day, as we know, it's only 10% of the literate population who are actually going in for voting. So we are here to please ask the people and spread a message through our flash mobs. And, bring in awareness among people that voting is really important. So please go in. You want a better government, please go there, vote. I mean, there's nothing wrong in it. We should give our best, and we will definitely get a better candidate.
Okay, great. Thank you all very much. Wish you all the best. Thank you. But this is an important point, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. Since you've been piloting this is an important point. While you've got people out in the streets, they must be convinced that they themselves must go out and vote. Otherwise, what purpose does it serve?
You're absolutely right, Rahul. If the young don't vote, then you cannot expect any change to happen. I think that's what we are trying to get across to young people, saying if you are young voters, first-time voters, go and vote. I mean, use your best judgment, but vote.
My question to you is, Bangalore was known for its simple approach to life, and excessive rules and regulations have made things very complicated. As a youngster, I want to know, why is the city forced to shut down at 11? Why can't the government step up security instead of imposing unreasonable deadlines?
No, people are working till 10, 10:30, 11, and you want everybody to shut down at 11? That's not fair, Nirmala Sitaram.
Well, very well. I've heard her. I am sure the party will take a suitable...
But no one's told you this in the last 5 years?
Sorry?
No one's told you this in the last 5 years?
It has not happened in the last 5 years. No, I don't think... Rahul, I don't think it helps to mock at certain
No, I'm asking a relevant question, ma'am.
No, I'm certainly underlining this point. Mocking doesn't help. Decisions by public representatives, people who are elected, are not taken without consulting their own constituencies. They are not sitting in ivory towers and taking decisions. They are also, after all, MLAs elected by the people. So if the decisions are being taken by the elected representatives, it certainly has a ground connect.
So
Let us not miss out on that.
Are you supporting the decision, or are you promising
No, that's
you will
exactly
change
what I
it?
said. If there are decisions coming in, if there are viewpoints coming in, which may be different from what the decisions which are being taken, obviously I will certainly convey it to the party, and they will definitely take a call.
Harish,
but that doesn't mean, I underline, that doesn't mean that elected representatives are cut off from the people. There are certain sections which probably don't find an audience here, who probably have asked the people to take a decision like that. Let's also compare what has been the
Okay,
basis
Harish
of the
Vijay, as you walk around the streets of Bangalore, several people say, this 11 p.m. deadline has killed the city. In the sense that people work till so late, now suddenly at 10:30 you're asked to go back home. People believe that's unfair.
Typically the ethos in a Bangalore nightlife spot is the last song is played around 11:15, and it's typically, a black-eyed peas. It's going to be a good night. And unfortunately, our youngsters don't really think it's a good night, because, the night just doesn't begin. The problem is simply this, Rahul, that, there is a kind of the rulers are of a different age profile altogether compared to the city and its profile. Bangalore, as I told, I'm simply saying that, a large number of this city, a large population, 63% of the population of the city is below the age of 25. We are India's most aggressively young city, ruled by a set of people who are not necessarily as young in their minds. We don't need young leaders. We need leaders with youth in their mind. You know, and I think that's missing. And I think once that comes in, that's a recognition of
Rajiv
the profile
Gowda,
of
will your
Bangalore.
party change this if you were to get elected?
I would be one who would support this very, very strongly.
You don't know what your party thinks.
Well, I think we'll have to get into those details as we
In your
take office.
manifesto, it's not been discussed.
I don't think this is an issue that came up in the manifesto.
I think, if I may say so, Rahul, we are focusing on moral policing, but we need real policing. That's what it is.
No, but Gauri Lankesh, Nirmala also says that leave these people aside. They're the English-speaking type. There are lots of people who actually believe that Bangalore should shut down because women are safer that way. Do you accept that argument that Nirmala is putting out?
I don't think that, shutting down a city necessarily means safety of women. Okay, I mean, it's not as recently there was a rape case, and yesterday a child was raped. Okay, and that has nothing to do with the city shutting
And
down by
Mumbai is
11.
up till 2 o'clock and then it's still relatively
Protection
safe.
of women is totally different. Shutting down of the city is a totally
But that's an
different
important
issue. It's
question,
not
Nirmala
connected.
Sitharaman.
It's not
Mumbai
related
is
to
open
protection
till
of
2
women.
o'clock and yet is safer than people feel in Bangalore at 11.
No, why am I being asked questions about groups which have nothing to do with the BJP? The BJP, on the contrary, instituted an inquiry and took action on them.
Yeah.
Would you want to understand that and also please state that?
Gauri Lankesh, Nirmala Sitharaman says a lot of these fringe right-wing Hindutva groups, extremist groups,
nothing to do
actually
with
have nothing to do with the BJP. Why blame them if the Sri Ram Sena or someone does something crazy?
See, one second.
Your ministers gave supportive statements.
That's the usual BJP fashion. It's like a 1,000-headed snake. Okay, one head does one thing, another head denies it. Okay, but please, I think we should make a correction here. Let's not call it moral policing. It's immoral policing.
Yes,
Everyone
absolutely.
uses that word wrongly. It should be immoral policing.
Political parties have neither ideology nor passion. They have a lot of money with which they seek votes, but where's the ideology, where's the passion?
You know, Rahul, I think what's really going to happen is a lot of people do not own a city like Bangalore. I do believe there are a lot of people who have not even registered to be voters at this point of time. That is a citizen-centric point. It's not a political party-centric point. And that's the first step to take. The second step is those who are registered to vote, let's say around 62% of the people in the city, they need to step out on election day and vote. Our typical number in Bangalore is 48%. So if we can up that, I think we'll make a move, which is dramatic.
Rahul, one of my favorite quotations, Lord Byron was once asked, "How is your wife?" And he responded, "As compared to whose wife?" So I would rather see Mohan and Kiran getting into active politics in mainstream parties, contest and win the poll. They're doing a great job with BPAC, increasing awareness. But the next step is to go into the mud and clean it. Why not give the citizens a choice?
Okay, let
The young
Kiran
lady you
Mazumdar-Shaw
asked-
I would like to
young
make
lady
a-
you asked-
If you want people who
No,
are
I
here
would like
to
to-
have
young
someone
lady
to
you
look
asked
up
said
to, it
she-
is people like you.
No, I
Rahul,
would
the
like
young
to
lady
make
you
a
asked said she's
statement
not
and I'd
gonna
like
vote.
to
Why?
refute what
There are
Srivatsa
not
is
enough
saying.
people worth giving that vote to.
Yes.
No, I would like to make a statement. I think every political party has good people. Okay?
It does, indeed
And
it
I
does.
think it is those good people who need to come to the fore. And I think if you ask every one of the leaders here, they will tell you that they have a good depth and talent pool of good people. But most of those people are not winnable. That's what we are trying to do. How do we make those
So how
good
do you
politicians
how do you
winnable?
make good candidates winnable?
Absolutely.
Rahul, the only way to make good candidates win is one, we must support for them, we must support them, we must volunteer to campaign for them, we must give money to campaign for them, and we must make sure that we enthuse everybody to go vote for them. And I think there are good people. For example, everybody's talking about winnability. Who has got winnability today? The guy who's a smuggler, a real estate manipulator, a drug peddler, a corrupt official. They got money, and that's winnability. Is that what we want?
Okay.
We want to be ruled by corrupt elite in this country?
This gentleman has a question.
Yeah, my question, today if you look at Bangalore, we have a young population. As per the data what we get, less than 50% of the people are in the age group. I mean, around 50 to 60% are in the age group of 25 to 35. Now if you really look at it, but that means they are the future. And this population is increasing year on year. But from the political side, we are not seeing any young leaders being projected for the future. This, I feel, is a major disconnect happening between the youth as well as the political system.
Who wants to answer that question?
Because,
Well, just being young does not mean that a person is experienced, that a person has vision and capability. Many things go into,
I
being
would
a
like
good, experienced leader. So essentially, every party is trying to nurture a new generation. They have a pipeline which allows youngsters to come in. The key issue really should be,
Mera pass
what
Rahul
are
hai.
they doing?
मेरे पास राहुल है.
What are they doing for the youth?
That's the one with the
Are
vision,
we
without
focused
the
on
vision?
skill
That's the
development? Are we focused on finding other ways to empower our youth, unleash their potential? That's what you should be looking at,
Mohandas,
not just
I have
the
an
age.
elder leader
I'm
with
going to be
young at heart.
50. I'm as youthful as anybody else.
But
No, I
Nirmala
have a
Sitharaman.
counter question. Can I put a counter question to this? Because today, if you look at it, these guys are more charged up. In the age group 25 to 35, they are willing to go and take risk in the whatever field they are willing. But whereas if a person comes to 50, 60, he has seen most of his life. His professional career is already, he has passed through that particular phase. What is the motivation for him to take the country forward?
Do you think there's a
Because
great
I
case,
personally
Nirmala
feel
Sitharaman,
here the
for
correct
younger
way the-
people to come in, given the demographics
Because
of our
the
country?
reason for
We're
that is,
also looking
the
at
reason
a very
again is,
changing political system in the sense of not institutions but political parties and their profile. There has been a time in India when you had full-time politicians whose only career was politics. There are now a lot of political parties, I'm sure all of us have, people who have come from other professions, who've had a good tenure, professional excellence somewhere, who are getting into politics, which is a very healthy sign. So, it is a generational shift where the kind of profile of politicians you had who were full-timers, now you have people from other sectors who are also coming
No, but
in.
how do you
So
make
I
them
think
winnable, Danish Ali? While we got some professionals on the stage as well, the question is, how do you make them winnable? They don't have money, they don't have gundas, they don't have what it takes to win in India.
No, my party has projected Mr. Kumaraswamy as the would-be chief minister, and he has been the chief minister. I think he is the youngest in all the leaders.
how old is he? How old is he?
You,
No, I'm talking about relative age, because today we are talking about
he
relative
is in
age.
late 40s. He is in late 40s. If you can't bring only 25 years is
No, but
registered.
the basis
and,
of
and
my,
he has been chief
no, the
minister.
basis of my question was,
Yeah.
today the youth is finding a disconnect in relating to the people.
That's
We have
important.
given
That is
lot
what
of
is my
gifts to
point.
the youth.
Just one.
We have given lot of tickets to the youth, and most of our candidates are young. Young people are our.
A lot of these people, when we're chatting with them online, seem to be disconnected with the political process. They don't see the candidates, they don't see the vision, they don't see anything which would inspire them to actually make the effort.
Rahul, you're absolutely right, because they're disconnected and we are trying to create the connection between them. And I want to tell them that politics is the way of running society. You cannot get away from politics. And politicians may be bad people, some of them may be corrupt, but they are your leaders. You have to talk to them. You have to change their action. And please remember this for you. It is your future at stake. Your jobs are at stake. Your EMI is at stake. Your dancing is at stake. Your quality of life is at stake. Your water is at stake. Your car is at stake. Your lives are at stake, not our lives. We have had our careers. Your lives are at stake, and that's why you must go and vote. You must make your voice heard. You must go to your representative and ask him questions. You must make them act. You must stop corruption. And if you don't have ideology, don't have passion, there is no future for this country.
Let's take the next question.
My question is to Ms. Kiran. My question is that, see, I'm a layman, I'm a common person, and I find everybody handicapped in solving my problem. About traffic jam every day, which I go any public offices, I find red tapeism there. I find people asking for bribes. Everything I find the trouble in everywhere I go. Even me from home to coming home from home to college, I find myself harassed in standing in traffic queues. So whom should I vote? Please help me out in this.
Look, I'm not the government, okay? And I think it's about every citizen getting connected. If you want to demand better quality of life, you need to get engaged with the political system. You need to basically make sure that you connect with your leader in your constituency, in your ward. There is a way of engaging even in your wards.
Ma'am, I definitely...
And I think Nirmala made a statement that there needs to be more citizen engagement with the political system.
Okay.
Unless that happens, no problems are going to be
No, ma'am,
solved.
I definitely
and
second
it
you on
starts
that.
with voting.
I definitely second you on that, but ma'am, they are marketing themselves, they are projecting themselves as for us to look upon them. But what is the agenda they are putting forward on me that I should look upon them? Yes, they will benefit me in this way.
Exactly.
I find them everybody handicapped.
Exactly.
All of you come out and vote for good governance, for clean people, then parties will also respond with
provide
more
me
clean
one, sir.
candidates as well.
I want an option to vote for somebody.
Used about a half a dozen times handicap. My party only last year has organized a rally for the handicapped. 1 lakh handicapped. 1 lakh handicapped. Get
Harish,
out in Bangalore. Nobody, see, we are not talking here about the handicap.
Absolutely.
They are also people.
Triggered.
Harish,
One lakh handicapped.
You know,
First time in Bangalore.
I think the debate is going from the sublime to the ridiculous. But answering that exact point of his, I would like to say this is the kind of attitude you see among young Bangaloreans. And I think this is completely wrong. We need to come out. You know, in Bangalore, we have a large number of people who are what I would call a floating population today. There is a fixed population. You know, which is that fixed population? The one that is registered as a voter. The floating population, unfortunately, I'm using this phrase, is the one that is not registered as a voter. I think this entire population needs to own the city. My dear Bangaloreans, I'd like to appeal to you to say that own the city. Do not outsource the city. Own the city.
That's a very important point.
I have a question. Now we look at a futuristic side, and when we look at the future, we look at your manifestos. And looking at your manifesto, what we really found is, you know, it's a fight for freebies. Somebody wants to provide free loans, somebody wants to provide loan free without interest rate,
Correct.
₹1 rise. So it's a fight of freebies. It's nothing wrong in uplifting of the backward people, but the ideology is totally wrong. You know, if you really want to provide free laptop, why don't you open a kiosk or cafes all around Karnataka that would be maintained properly? But you are providing free laptops. What's the use of it? Secondly, you are providing free loan. Will this lead to economic development of the state? No.
It's just a game to get votes. Rajiv Gowda should
Hardly.
answer.
See, you need to have a heart also. There are a lot of people in India, in Karnataka, who are not progressing at the same pace as all of you in Bangalore. And they need a hand. They need a hand that helps them, you know, achieve some equality of opportunity. So that's where the free laptop or any of these empowering devices is aimed at. Okay? Let them also have access to the same devices. This is not something that's going to be some permanent thing, okay? We're not into handout culture or anything like that. We're seeing a disparity. We don't want the disparity to worsen, so we're stepping in there and trying to create a platform.
Okay, let's take more questions from others.
Move towards equality.
मेरा सवाल दानिश भाई से है कि अभी आपने कहा कि कुमार स्वामी बहुत यंग और डायनामिक चीफ मिनिस्टर रह चुके हैं। मैं आपसे एक सवाल करना चाहता हूं कि आपका पार्टी का नाम जनता पार्टी है और आप शुरू से जनता के लिए काम किए हैं, गरीबों और किसानों के लिए काम किए हैं। क्या आपका मैनिफेस्टो जनता के बीच में बनता है या कुमार स्वामी जी के घर में बनता है? और दूसरा सवाल इसी पे है कि आपके जितने भी लास्ट कंटेस्ट किए हुए एमएलए थे और इस बार के एमएलए जितने भी कंटेस्ट किए, इनका अगर एसेट देखा जाए तो 200% बढ़ गया है। आप हमें थोड़ा टिप्स दे दीजिए कि आम आदमी भी अपने एसेट को थोड़ा बढ़ा ले।
मेरे ख्याल से मैनिफेस्टो जो है, आप मुझे अपना एड्रेस दे दीजिए कि अगली बार जब मैं अपना मैनिफेस्टो बनाऊंगा पार्टी।
No, but you can't mock that question. You can't mock that question.
I am not mocking the question.
One second. See, the Congress certainly reached out to lots of groups, including DPAC, and got inputs. I'm sure the other party could have done that. There's no
but
reason
it's
to
an
believe that
important
just
question.
one set of people have the moral authority
But
here.
don't mock him.
I am not mocking him. He said कुमार स्वामी घर में बनता है। अरे भाई पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का मैनिफेस्टो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के ऑफिस में बनेगा by taking the views of all the sections of the society. If next time wherever the Aam Aadmi, so-called Aam Aadmi, they say, I will make the address.
See,
note down
Rahul,
yes,
there is nothing stopping any person or group from approaching a political party and saying, consider our demands.
Okay.
Right? That has happened in Karnataka across political parties. I have also conducted meetings listening to professionals and others and got their inputs. We've conducted youth-related events. So there's a lot of input that comes in. Okay, next time.
And
gentlemen,
go on. Second answer, Rahul, second answer. He said 200% growth in the assets. You can compare the political parties across. That what आप दूसरे पार्टी से कंपेयर कर लीजिए कि हमारे एमएलए का कितना % ग्रोथ.
Okay, let's take some final questions. Yes, please.
I'll ask my question to Rajiv Gowda. In the past 6 months, 7 months, in Bangalore city alone, 13.5 lakh voters were removed from the rolls illegally. None of the 27 MLAs of Bangalore responded to my letters sent twice. And the political parties have got a very special role to play in keeping the electoral rolls clean. It is already provided in the EC directives. And even when the CEO called the political representatives, telling that show me the illegal deletions, incorrect deletions. Total about 100 incorrect deletions were shown, and as has already been told, 13 lakh registrations have happened since December.
Okay.
So no political party was interested, no MLA was interested, nobody responded, including the presidents of the three major parties, including the speaker, including the chairman of
council.
council.
Let Rajiv Gowda respond.
Essentially, all these years we've been concerned about flaws in the urban electoral roll. People who have moved, people who are dead being on those rolls, right? And so everyone's been saying clean it up, right? In the process of cleaning it up, if you point out that it was incorrectly cleaned up, then there is an argument for going out there and bringing it to the Election Commission's attention. What political parties are often more concerned is whether this was done with a political motive. Have you eliminated minorities? Have you done this or that? You know, those sorts of things. But many of our representatives have gone to the Election Commission meetings. I myself have gone to a previous one, not the one that was recently called, talking about these kinds of issues. We would welcome more engagement with you and your other NGO activists so that we can get to the root of these kinds of problems and resolve them in the future. We want everyone who has the right to vote and to participate. And voting
there
is
is
just the
not
first
evidence
step.
at all that you are interested. Now making a promise makes no sense at all.
No, sir, I think you should reach out to me.
No, but when he had an opportunity, nobody represented.
Personally, you know.
Yes, the gentleman there.
On this issue,
Ganesh, sir.
I myself, with my president, Mr. Devegowda, went and met the chief election commissioner in Delhi. On record. It's on record with
the gentleman there.
So let us come back to the basic needs like water, garbage, and all the roads and all those things. Like all the parties make the same manifesto that they'll keep roads clean, garbage clean, and everything. And these garbage are dumped into the area of the rural area. Like I stay in Hoskote, these people dump all the garbage at Hoskote.
Ask your question.
And due to this, we are suffering from dengue, and many people are being killed. Like myself have been come out of deathbed. So who is responsible for these things? And why don't you people follow what you give in your manifestos?
Okay, all parties must answer this question. Let's start with getting Nirmala Sitharaman.
I've already conceded that we could have done better on this.
He wants to know what will you do?
Huh?
What's your plan going forward?
Exactly, that's where the manifesto has very clearly said that we've got layers of infrastructure built in. Now there will be a newer act which will come through, which will enable the political parties to handle better. And I'm sure that issue.
Rajiv
We're not
Gowda.
going to be proud of a city which is under, let's say.
No, we're going to work with
quick final points.
with citizens for social segregation and attack the garbage mafia and ensure that we address this issue in a futuristic manner.
Danishan.
We will have a policy. What the gentleman has said, that we are not going to have a policy of dumping the garbage into the rural area. We would have an alternative policy to make use or to recycle that garbage. And
what I'm asking is, manifesto is made for the complete Karnataka, including rural areas. And why are you people not taking care of rural areas? Whereas you people dump all the garbage in a rural area where we get a lot of diseases. And one more thing, because Dani sir raised the question, so I am saying, even in Bangalore, I'll show you 5 places where there are a lot of garbage. Like there is a place called Dubai Layout and a Tani Road, and I can see a Burj Khalifa.
You've asked your question. Let Danish Ali and Dhananjay Kumar respond.
Yeah, scientific method of disposal of the garbage, segregation of the garbage, conversion into fertilizer, then also into power generation. These are the only solutions. Scientific method of disposal of garbage is the only solution for the question raised by the gentleman. That should be developed, and it is possible. As I told you, when my leader was the chief minister, there was no problem.
Okay, it's actually, it's actually quite a great travesty that instead of discussing what should be done to take the high-tech Silicon City into the future, we spend so much time discussing the most basic, the most pressing problem of what to do with garbage in Bangalore. That really shows where we've landed up after all these years of misgovernance, not to be attributed only to one party, as a cumulative failure of the political establishment. That needs to change. To all our guests for joining us on the Right to be Heard election special, thank you very much. We've been able to take several questions, put political representatives in a spot where they have to answer these questions. For all of you for taking our time, thank you so much and participating.
Thank you.
Thank you.